And we're live. Welcome to the 1023 Soul Shop Talk podcast, Black Friday edition, where we're going to go through and look at whatever parts it takes to make our ideal daily driver build. And you're going to do a 92 Cummins, right? No, okay.
That is not ideal.
All right, so I'm going to do a 7.3 build, and this is just going to be like going out in search of whatever parts that I think would make for the driver that I would want, not specific to maybe what I would recommend for everyone, but we can shop deals in the process and hopefully find something cool. And what are you going to be building, Robert?
I am going to build an 06 Mega Cab 5.9 truck.
Which is also what you currently have, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, not ideal, but that's what I drive.
A giant single is not ideal for daily driving.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a Dodge, but...
Yeah. So, of course, I'm going to start with... we're going to go to our website because we have a lot of 7.3 parts. We have some deals that we can show you. Not a lot. I was actually... I guess this year I didn't expect it to be kind of like last year. I mean, last year there were so many problems with supply that injector builders and stuff like that, they couldn't keep up with demand when there wasn't a sale. And so there wasn't a lot of deals. But the one that surprised me more than anything, and let me switch over to my screen.
I'll tell you what, I got a deal on a set of 350-200s and some dual pumps.
He does have that. If anybody wants those for their daily driver, not a 1023 sold, just individual sale, used parts. It's
took them off the wife's daily driver.
Did you put anything else in it, or is it just down for now?
No, a set of stage ones and a single stage one.
Does it drive a lot nicer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually enjoyable.
It's nice.
I can't believe that truck still works. But so Warren Diesel, $300 off the transmissions. I was very surprised by that.
Yeah, that's not bad. Almost 10%.
Yeah, it's quite a discount.
Yeah.
So I know for anybody who has shopped with us in the past, we used to have a lot more parts for later Power Strokes and some Duramax and Cummins parts too. And we removed a lot of it, including a lot of 7.3 parts even, when it's as the pandemic came in and supply started dropping and prices started skyrocketing, it became nearly impossible to keep accurate pricing and inventory on parts, especially for a lot of stuff that isn't warehoused here and is drop shipped. And so we kind of narrowed it down. But if anybody is looking to get in on the deal for stuff like the Warren's transmissions and you want to save on it, we can get all of them, like 4Rs, 5Rs, E4Ds. We just don't have anything but E4s and 4Rs listed. So that is an option. So I'm going to start. So my ideal rig would be, I don't know if it's ideal. My ideal 7.3, let's say that, would be a 2000 to 2003. I'm not really an OBS guy. Sorry. And it would be super simple because I hate problems.
Which one do you like more? Like the 2000, 2001 or the 02, 03? There's some slight changes in there. Cluster.
I like the interiors and the clusters on the 02, 03 trucks better. With some better seat options and a nice Lariat just feels a little more modern.
Yeah.
And
especially for their time.
Yeah. And then if you could throw seats, I know that we disagree on this, but the 08 to 10 6.4 tan interiors, they are the bomb.
How back?
That would involve if I get a truck, I'll take the interior out of your. Do you want to bring up that heartbreaking story?
No.
Okay, we won't bring up.
Totaled Cummins.
Totaled. Well, he brought it up, so totaled the Cummins. That's a bummer. That's a huge bummer. All right. Do you have stuff picked out already? Because I'm going to start putting a list together here.
I started building a list, and I'm going to the websites and putting parts in carts.
Okay. So I'm going to switch back over here. We have our like power packages, and I guess I kind of want to explain because a lot of people don't seem to know exactly what they're for. It's nothing different than just an assembly of parts that work well together. That's all it is. And we kind of, like what I've found is that like a lot of people a lot of shops and stuff, they'll sell a package and it's just like, here's injectors, turbo, and tuning that work well together, but you still need all those other parts. And that's fine. We're actually going to probably move to having just like simplified packages. Like, these are the 3 or 4 parts that work well together, and then add them. But we're also going to build a better configurator for like, here's everything that works well together. And like, if you select the, a 250, 100, then, like a Casey Stage 1 turbo won't be an option anymore. So like everything will be there, but like only stuff that's compatible will be selectable. And I'm hoping we, as we build that platform out, we'll be able to make it easier for like other trucks too, not just 7.3 stuff. But right now it's kind of not great because like we have a bunch of options and some stuff isn't great and some is. And we have quite a bit in the descriptions where, we'll break down what the purpose of those parts are and what to choose, but it's still not perfect. So in the future, that's going to get a lot better. But as we've said many times, the base of the build, in my opinion, should be the injectors. Like, know what you want to do with the truck, choose the injectors, and then everything else you buy is dependent on that. Yeah. So I'm going to start with injectors. Let's say I've got a 2002 7.3. So that'll be my first thing.
So is this going to be like a crew cab, long bed dually? Or extended cab,
not
short bed? Or?
Not a dually, but a crew cab, long bed.
All right. Are you going to build it more to just daily drive or tow? Or?
So I'm doing it my way, which is I'm not going to freaking touch it. It's just going to be stock. So my build's over.
Boring.
No, it won't be totally stock. Let's see if I can find him here. So I'm going to do, I don't want anything larger than a stage 1.5. So it's going to be 180 30s for me. Because I want to run a small enough turbo that the truck is super responsive, because I frankly don't care if it makes a bunch of power. I want it to be nice and drivable and responsive. And I'm so used to my, my Ripon Equinox that, and that thing's got a turbo on it. I need the 7.3 to drive like that. Robert's just like, okay. So first thing I got, stage 1.5s. I'll go with full force here. And, of course I'm going to need a Hydra. So the reason that I want stage 1.5s is the responsiveness thing. So I want to run a small turbo. Also because, I don't like having to deal with trying to keep up here in the cold, especially like sometimes the truck may just be perfect, but if you have like 80%, 100% nozzles, it's very likely that you can end up with like startup smoke issues and stuff like that I don't really want to like cloud out.
It's only an issue if you say it's an issue though.
Well, yes, my tolerance is very low for those things. Let's put it that way. All right, so full force. Stage. I guess I can blow that up a little bit. Stage 1.5s and a Hydra. Should I use jelly built tuning just because? So $349 for the Hydras. No deals on full force at stage 1.5s. Only the hybrids and stocks. So that was interesting. I guess they have part supply issues or something. But yeah, the most popular one is the ones that are not on sale. It's kind of a bummer. Because the hybrids, the 205/30s and up, and then I think they're $200 off, and then the stock sets are like $100 off.
205/30s drive nice.
They do. It's
every truck that has gotten those, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I would like to do more testing with them, like with single shot A code 30% versus hybrids.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's like it's just pretty expensive for like not a lot of power gain. But if it's smoother, then that's one thing. All right, so I got injectors and Hydra. So $13.95 for the injectors, plus there's going to be a core charge, and then $349 for the Hydra. And then I'm going to go shopping around for other stuff. Do you have anything started you want to cover?
So a few things. Fuel system.
Switch over to you.
Combination of Dynamite diesel products and fleece. Going to go with some 150% over Dynamite diesel injectors and a 12 mil pump. Just running a single pump to keep things simple. These days you can get a lot out of a single, so there's really no reason to do duals unless you want over 1,800 horse. So with that, we are going to we can get away with just doing that fleece power flow and tank drop-in pump.
What kind of power does you said 100%?
150s.
What kind of power do those make?
They claim they'll support up to 1,300. I think you'd be really, really pushing to get 1,300 on fuel. I would expect it would be a good, 1,000 horse injector.
And that makes for a nice driver on a Cummins?
Common rail stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Just plug your ears, 7.3 people. Don't listen.
Common rail, yeah, it's a whole different world. But, yeah, you can, that's what I'm running right now. I got one battery, no heater, grid heater, and it starts up at, 10 degrees pretty easy. So, doesn't really smoke, fires right off, nice and clean.
Why do we do these 7.3 things? I don't know why we're still doing this.
There'll always be a place in my heart for 7.3s, but sometimes you got to explore that.
Especially when you decide to stop daily driving with 200%.
Yeah, that was a big change. I forgot what it was like.
Forgot what it was like when your truck doesn't drive like crap.
Yeah. Not embarrassed sitting in a stoplight anymore because your truck sounds like it's running on 6 cylinders.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. We also got the fleece bypass, coolant bypass, run coolant out the back of the cylinder head, and cools down number 5 and 6 a lot more.
And that's a fleece part?
Yeah, fleece makes that. Basically, it's like a billet block with a thermostat in it. Goes in the back of the block, and a port for a freeze plug. Pop the freeze plug out, stick this in there. Hose, secures right there. And the hose comes around up to the front of the cylinder head. Crap. And this block right here is where it connects to, and it dumps coolant in on the radiator side of the thermostat. So it's always, when that thermostat at the back of the head opens up, you got a constant flow through the whole cylinder head. Nice. And it really helps cool down number 5 and 6. What else we got? A 5.9 cylinder head from Fleece. It's got their heavy duty valve springs and important part right there, oversized press in valve seats so they don't pop out or fall down while you're driving down the road. Can make a mess. And it typically ends up with a drop valve. So pretty common on the Cummins. I've seen a few times on the 6.7s. So a fix for that is to put oversized press in valve seats with a pretty tight press fit. And I think that's about it I got here on Fleece. I think I threw some.
Was any of that stuff on sale?
It doesn't show any sale on their website.
Okay.
At least I didn't see it.
Well,
15% off, so we are on sale.
Nice.
Which is pretty big, especially when you're, starting a build from ground zero.
Are you Are you planning on like this build as you're going to build the transmission?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
I don't know who I would go to if I had to buy it for someone else.
Well, if you're a transmission builder, that kind of makes sense.
Probably Doran. I don't know if a lot of people know Doran. But,
who does he work for now?
D&J Transmission Components.
Okay, that's what it was.
And he's probably the guy I'd choose. But while we're here looking at transmission parts, Performance Transmission Products is the place I would go to order all that. What we got so far? Intermediate shaft and a rebuild kit. So we're going to need a few more parts. Let's run the stock direct drum, cut the plate. Bands, I'll probably run a rigid band. Build my own valve body. Gonna need an input shaft. Probably a larger shaft for this build. 35 splines are really hard to get right now, so we'd probably be looking at 27 spline. Which I don't know if these are 27s or 23s.
What are you using for converters for Dodge transmissions now?
I have been using D&P converters out of California. They've been doing really good.
Even on bigger builds?
Yep. Yeah, they do a really good job. I have used Gorend. I've had really good luck with them. Been really happy with the products that they provide, but I think the parts availability has really hit everyone hard.
Yeah.
And especially when you got customers waiting, you gotta get things moving. So DMP has been doing really good in that regard. I think it's about it here, maybe an output shaft. Just because I might have to do a hard launch. We'll just do stock sized one, keep it simple, don't have to do any T-case changes. And I don't see any converters on Joe's website. So.
All right, so run through that. What is in that rebuild kit? What does that contain?
This rebuild kit, we got a, see if I can throw an exploded view up. No. Looks like direct frictions and steels, cut pressure plates for overdrive and direct. Looks like a flex band comes in that one, and a reverse band, filter, belt spring for forward, overdrive directs, washers, bushings that are needed, bearings, super servo, 3.8 lever, and what is that? Overdrives. Pretty much everything you'll need minus hard parts to build a 48RE. A really good 48RE that comes with shift kit too. But doing full manual valve body, I won't need that shift kit. I might need a few parts of it actually. But
you have a full manual valve body in your Dodge now, right?
Yep.
How do you like it?
I like it a lot. It's fun being able to control everything that the transmission does. Not with a laptop. I mean, with a laptop, you can make a really nice shift schedule that works for a certain application, but sometimes you want to do something different, and then it doesn't work. So it's nice, choosing if I want to lock up in second or not, choosing if I want to lock up in third, or sometimes I just drive around in fourth with no lockup, and it's really nice when you have a larger turbo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the thing we run into a lot, like with tuning, is guys that are like, well, it's great except for this specific scenario or whatever, and it's like, I can't help you with that. If you want a specific scenario of the truck to do a specific thing, you have to have control of it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Look for some engine parts.
All right, I'm going to swing over to mine here because I have switch to this. So I'm going to use a CNC HPOP. I like Adrenaline and CNC pumps, both. They're both really good. They have, like, the CNC Stage 2 and an Adrenaline are, like, feature-wise and flow-wise fairly similar. They both have stainless inserts. The real difference is that with the Adrenaline, and I'm sure, like, the builders could argue more differences, but from a use case of, like, we just see people using them and use them a lot. The Adrenalines are more expensive. I think they're about $160 more, but they have a 4-year warranty, and CNC Fabs have a 1-year warranty, and they're cheaper, about $150 cheaper. I really like using CNC pumps, though. We've used a ton of them, and they've been great. So,
at what point do you go to stage 2?
Man, almost anything now.
Really?
Because, and the only reason is because we've had a couple situations, and we had one in the shop a while ago where I don't remember if those trucks had, like, stage 1 or stage 1.5 injectors, but either way, they were around a stage 1.5 injector, and they didn't, the CNC stage 1 pump didn't keep up. And, like, every truck is different enough, and, like, I don't know, I couldn't describe why, but you could throw the same setup in, 5 different trucks, and they are going to run different, and there's a ton of variables there. But we've seen sometimes where it's like a CNC stage 1 doesn't keep up with a stage 1.5 or larger injector. So they usually do, but they don't always, and there could be a lot of reasons why. So I would say if you're going to, like, a 160/30 and larger, then I would just use a stage 2 or an Adrenaline, just so you don't end up spending, saving $100 to end up without not maintaining the pressure that you actually want to. So yeah, pretty much a Adrenaline or CNC stage 2, anything stage 1.5 and larger is what I'd recommend. Or if you're running, like, a smaller set of hybrids, like a 205/80 or a 205/30, then a CNC stage 1 would probably be fine. They seem to be fine. So those are $625. They're 10% off right now. $625.45 for the pump. So I've got injectors, Hydra, pump, and I'm basically done. So
Come on.
I'm not done yet. All right, what else do you got?
I'm going to be spinning some RPM on this thing, so looking for some engine parts. Make it live. Find some 425s. Wonder if they have them in stock.
So this is actually kind of funny. Let's show something real quick. We can see, like, all the queries, all the searches people make on our store, and so many people spelled HPOP hoop wrong that we started including hoop and like the wrongly spelled words as the search queries. But it's great because I just did it. I just spelled hoop lines and they came up. So
that's funny.
All right, so I'm going to add HPOP lines too, CNC Fab HPOP lines while I'm in here.
625s are out of stock, but more on the way.
So there's two or three different types of studs for the Cummins trucks, right? 625s, and then was it 425s? Are those normal or what?
Yeah. There's a lot of different options nowadays. Seems like ARP kind of had some issues with supply, so a lot of other companies kind of jumped in and came out with some offerings. But as far as the most common options, 625s and 425s from ARP for the 12 mil stud. Some guys are bumping up to a 14 mil, the big power, but
that's only like what, 1,200 plus or something.
Yeah, that's probably where I would start recommending that. What else? I'm getting some valve springs. Probably should throw some push rods in it.
So I'm gonna have to have you put together a list for a 4-hour build too, because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. 1023 has this HD 4R100 build. You can just
I'm gonna buy one from 1023 then.
we only sell it at the shop though. So
Yeah. Well, thankfully I know where that shop is.
let's see what Joe's got for parts. I don't know if he's got everything I need on his website.
So HD
Sells them as singles. It's gonna take a while.
Well, I'll just plan for buying a 1023 HD 4R. What does it cost on that?
$36.50.
Well, I'm not a mechanic, so what's the cost installed?
Usually around $5,500.
Okay.
With an upgraded cooler. All right, we got valve springs, we got push rods, we got head studs. What else am I gonna need? Parts. I need the dampener. I got everything but the dampener.
Okay, what'd you say the price was on the 4?
The 5,500 installed.
All right.
And because I don't want to pull this engine out, we're going to run this on stock rods.
Is that a marginally bad idea?
People do it.
So it's like 200% on a stock Forge 7.3.
Yeah, I did that.
You can,
years.
but might not work out for you.
Pretty much. Really easy to shorten a rod doing that. Luckily, those rods kind of give you a little bit of notice before they exit the block. Usually, you'll start having, really rough cold starts because you got one short rod or 2 or 3 short rods. So you're not getting the compression on those cylinders. If you pay attention to that before that rod fails, it'll save you a lot of money. Not seeing dampeners.
All right, so I've got injectors. I'm going to do stage 1.5 injectors, so 160 to 180/30. CNC stage 2 HPOP. I got CNC HPOP lines. Transmission. For the turbo, I'm going to do a KC stage 1. They drive really nice. They're just pretty responsive. Like, it'll handle the power I'm going to want from the truck fine. And let's see here. I don't think that the Super Duty KC turbos are on sale, which is kind of a bummer. It's only their, I guess the stock pluses and then their earlier stuff, but not their S300 series, not the stage 1s, 2s, and 3s. That's okay. That's still the turbo I'd choose.
That's strange.
I guess that starts to give you a somewhat of a vision of what types of parts people are having issues with.
Yeah. Man, what am I going to do for turbo?
All right, so for the turbo, I've got, it's going to be 1190. So after this, we're going to be looking at Amazon, just parts on Amazon. I kind of perused through earlier, and there's just so much like weird stuff being sold under automotive. I don't know how to shop on Amazon very well. I don't often, but there's some funky stuff in there. All right, you got injectors, HPOP lines, transmission, turbo. I'm gonna do BD up pipes. What do you guys use for up pipes in the shop usually for 7.3s?
These days, whatever we can get. A lot of the times we use BD, diesel site, riffraff. They all seem to have pretty high quality up pipes.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of BDs. As far as I know, most of like the cheaper ones that are Dormans or Dorman knockoffs or whatever, they seem to have a lot of fitment issues. Like the quality control is not really there. And like it seems like if you get them installed, then they work fine. But getting them to seal properly the first time is not the funnest job. And BDs seem to be pretty rock solid. But I'm going to add the pedestal while I'm in here too. So blank pedestal. I do not care about the Beck pressure valve, even in Alaska, because I would rather it not leak.
Yeah.
Pedestal is going to be 139. Don't need a high flow outlet. All the KC drop-in chargers come with a high flow outlet, so there's no back pressure valve in them. And let's go back to grab the BD. I'll just search for it. BD up pipes. All right, $431.99 for those. All right, what you looking at for turbos?
Turbos, I'm thinking a large turbine 76-ish.
Looks like our camera.
Large turbine is like a 93. Usually get those in T4 housing. There we are. That's T6. 478, that might...
It's back on.
Maybe 72. I don't know how fast that'd probably spool up pretty quick. I don't know if it would try to overspeed or not.
All right, what is it?
Small. This is
distracted by technical difficulties.
Forced inductions S472 with a 93 millimeter turbine on it in a T4 housing. That might be too small of a compressor wheel for that turbine, though.
What size turbine was that?
93.
And that drives nice. That's so weird.
Well, the problem with that is sometimes you don't have enough compressor wheel to slow down that turbine.
Right.
So you're going to overspeed the thing. So I would almost be willing to bet this 478 would do a little bit better for what I'm looking at. And yeah, I don't know about with the 5.9, but with the 6.7 short block, that little extra displacement seems to make these things drive really nice, you know. And common rail, you can get fuel in at like 5,000, 5,500 RPM.
Yeah.
Which really is where these turbos shine.
Yeah, with the 7.3 you can make power from like 2,000 to 3,000 RPM. And you're done.
Yeah.
Nice small window.
So where are we at? We got XTP didn't really have much for turbos. Got a gated T4 exhaust manifold, fluid dampener, drill kit, the full power kit, and their dampener. XP push rods, 625 head studs, and valve springs. That should be enough to make this engine live for a while. From Fleece.
What size turbo do you have on your truck right now?
It's an 80.
Okay.
But it's got a smaller turbine, an 87.
And weren't you just towing with it? Like, have you towed with that setup?
Not heavy. Like I towed the dump trailer with some metal.
Yeah.
But
not the greatest experience for towing.
I mean, it'll do it. EGTs are just not very easy to manage.
Yeah.
Fuel system, we got the power flow fleece and tank lift pump, that drop-in setup they got. DDP injectors, 150s, and 12 mil pump. Fleece coolant bypass, exhaust manifold stud, and their cylinder head. And transmission doesn't look like my converter of choice is listed, but we got shafts minus the input shaft. Probably just get the input shaft from the converter builder so they can put the right hub in it at the same time for large input. And then rebuild kit from Joe, Performance Transmission Products. That should be a lot of it. Might need some traction bars. What do you usually sell for traction bars?
I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
We in the shop usually sell WC Fab.
Okay. And you really like them?
Yeah, they're easy to go on. They look nice. They're always on point with the powder coating, and they're easy to get. They're usually in stock with our distributors, so we can get them to the shop pretty quick.
Yeah, that's one of the things we're adding to the list of projects that need to be done is getting traction bars, suspension parts, and then proper training for sales and support to go along with it.
What is he doing with receiver hitches? Wonder if that's just sled pulling setup. I don't know much about sled pulling, so unfortunately we don't have that option up here in Alaska. These traction bars.
All right, I'm going to switch back over real quick. So for the fuel system, I'm only doing two things. I personally don't mind keeping the fuel bowl. So I'm going to do a CNC Fab 4-line feed kit. The BRFK one keeps the fuel bowl in place and just feeds all four corners. And I'd make the argument that that's not a bad move in a cold climate, so that you've got just like stock, you've got fuel feeding all four corners, and rather than passing fuel through the heads and heating it up and sending it back to the tank constantly, could reduce condensation a lot by just feeding the heads rather than passing hot fuel back constantly to the tank. Ended up with a warm fuel because it's going to constantly be heating.
Yeah.
So, especially being in Alaska and not needing a larger fuel system, that's the route I'm going to go. I will say, and this is something that let me pull it up in another tab here. For a while, for the longest time, I-Rates, like their basic fuel systems, I kind of struggled with them because I kind of like their kits, but they use the Walbro pumps, and those things are just not reliable at all. So they switched to like a Deshwork pumps, and that one had some issues. And now they're finally selling like their standard fuel system for the OBS and the Super Duty has a Bosch 044 pump in it. So that's actually a pretty badass pump. They're pretty easy to find, and they're pretty reliable compared to the Walbros. So
I have seen people replace them, but I've never, they were all misdiagnosed. I've never actually seen one of those pumps fail.
You talk about the stock pumps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the Super Duties.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the 044 is just like the big brother of the stock Super Duty pump.
Make like is it like a drop-in pump? Or is it different fittings on each end?
I think they're different. Let me take a look. They're quite a bit bigger, like body size, I think. Let's see. Find somewhere. I guess Amazon probably will have the right specs. Maybe they are the same fittings. I don't know. I guess I have to look up the specs on it. They kind of look the same. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm happy to see that because I really didn't like. It's the only thing I didn't like about I-Rate systems was the fact that they had Walbro pumps because they
Do those
They fail
Walbro
like a
pumps
lot.
survive in like a warm climate? Is it just the cold that kills them, or?
They seem to. I mean, the thing that seems to kill them the most is especially OBS guys that keep the stock selector valve. If they get stuck and they have a lot of restriction, any restriction, all pumps are sensitive to restrictions on the suction side, but they're like highly sensitive. And I'm not sure if like up here in the cold, like part of the reason that they fail was from fuel just being thicker when it was really cold. And maybe that was enough of a restriction to cause problems. But I know up here, like I've never seen a Walbro pump last. Like they do not make it through the winter.
Yeah, it seems like we have issues with all the aftermarket pumps.
Yeah.
Even, some of the other aftermarket options.
All right, so I got CNC Fab, 4-line feed, and those are on sale. Those are $260.95 right now. And then I'm going to do a driven diesel pre-pump kit. So get a fuel water separator between the tank and the pump, and get rid of the screens in the tank.
We had one recently come in to the shop that we had that issue on. The screens in the tank were plugged up and making the pump cavitate. Made the truck run. It idled good, but as soon as you tried to put load on it, needed that higher volume of fuel, it fell on its face and ran pretty rough.
Yeah.
That can be a tough one to diagnose.
Was that a pickup or a cabin chassis?
It was a pickup.
What was in the screens? Just
I know there were like some bits of cardboard from like an additive bottle.
Okay.
Little cardboard caps that seem to always fall in the tank. There was some of that in there. I can't remember what else Taz found there, but that was definitely the issue. They were totally plugged up.
All right, I think I got injectors, HPOP, lines, 4-line feed, pre-pump kit, transmission, KC turbo, belted up pipes, and a pedestal. And I'm blanking now, but I think that's all I need. That'll be for just for my ideal nice daily driver. It's not going to be crazy. It's going to be easy to fix. Something happens. It'll drive nice, like anybody could drive it. It's not going to have a bunch of smoke issues, cold or warm, and isn't going to cost $1 bazillion. That's nice too. So now I just need to tally that up.
Nice thing about staying close to stock is a lot of the stock parts will work. Stock fuel bowl. You don't have to go with traction bars. You don't have to go crazy in the transmission. You don't have to do head studs, valve springs. That's not a very fun job.
It's not.
Especially with
and it's like once you break past, like if you want it to be reliable, once you break past that like 400 horsepower range anyway, like everything changes to the point that it's just not a simple truck anymore. And I don't know, for me, like I just need things to work. It's like I'm kind of busy. I don't have time for stuff to be broken.
Yeah.
Like if my battery dies, then it's just like, it's the end of the world. I'm not seeing. Look on Amazon here. There used to be like dozens and dozens of strange, like completely incoherent parts. Like there'd be like tuners. It's just like performance chip. It's like it doesn't do anything. It's just like an OBD2 dongle. It does absolutely nothing. There's just tons and tons of that stuff. It looks like there isn't nearly what there used to be.
I thought they did a pretty big crackdown on any kind of OBD2 readers or tuners, or
Yeah.
even if it was like a scan tool. I thought they were trying to get rid of all that.
Yeah, I can imagine it's quite the liability for them to have those things. Yeah, that's a bummer. It was fun looking at stupid stuff that used to be for sale. All right, I'm going to tally up what I got here. So, got a 11 or 13.95 for the injectors. I've got 625.45 for the HPOP. I'm not including core charges in that. 139.45 for the HPOP lines. 4-line feed kit is 260.95. $224.95 for the pre-pump kit. KC stage 1 is going to be $11.90. $139.50 for the pedestal. $431.99 for the up pipes. So minus the transmission, everything is $4,407, and then with the transmission, it's going to be another $55. $9,900 with the transmission installed, and that's my ideal truck. Except for wheels and tires and things that make it look better, but
What kind of wheels and tires you put on this thing?
stock.
Classic.
Just
stock.
Just stock.
Aluminum.
I guess if I was going all out, I would want to do like 08 to 10 suspension and axles, and then like stock the 20-inch, maybe like Harley wheels or something from that era. I really like those.
It's nice, like having a wheel that sits inside the fender, so when you're going down the road on days like today,
yeah,
you can actually see out your side windows and mirrors.
Yeah, they sit pretty nice. I mean, on those trucks, they do sit a little bit further out, like right on the edge, which like there's a balance. Like it has to look good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like those stock wheels a lot. And 907.29. All right, where are you at?
I'm a little bit more, but we did add some more stuff.
Okay.
I'm at 16,637. And there's still a few parts I'll need, but I'll probably just make them. That is a full manual valve body. Put $20 on there. There's not much that actually goes into one of those.
Really?
Yeah. Transmission build parts, $3,344. Fuel system, $65.22. Engine parts, there's a lot of stuff on there you don't really have to have, but is good insurance. Dampener and the high power kit to lock that dampener on. So we're at $46.17 there from XDP. That includes headsets, valve strings, push rods. Probably should throw a flex plate in on this, but we'll worry about that later. Turbo, $13.99. That was from Forced Inductions, the S478, the 93 mil turbine. Traction bars from WC Fab were $735. Let's see if I can find, I think, Goran's, who I would go to for a flex plate. They kind of...
I forgot about that.
The best option. Huh?
I would want to do a flex plate also. I'm going to add that to my list.
Yeah, it's not fun to do that twice.
We use diesel sites online. That's what we sell. But what do you have another vendor for
For 7.3s, it seems like it's a pretty limited market.
Yeah, I don't know of anything other than
So diesel sites
diesel
we
lights.
have been using for 7.3s.
Yeah. So that's another 525 for me.
Goran, might as well do SFI approved just in case. Maybe this engine will find itself into something else later on down the road. That's another $300.
Just don't put it in a Ford.
That's probably what it would find itself into.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. So
29.
I'll throw this on here.
Have you do you have any experience with aftermarket headlights that are box brand aftermarket headlights that don't suck, not custom?
I don't have any experiences of ones that don't suck.
Okay.
Except like Morimoto. Put a set of those on a Dodge a little while ago, and they were nice, but they are very expensive.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the big debate trying to decide what to sell.
I've used Eagle Eyes, and that's actually what's still on the dually. It's been on there for like 5-6 years, and they work good. The only problem I've had with them is they fog up. Other than that, the light reflection out of the housing is good.
Yeah.
They're still clear after like 5 years.
Yeah, all the cheaper brands like Spiders and stuff like that, they're cheap and they get you headlights, but like the patterns are never good. Like I've never seen a set where the light pattern was good at all. You see tons of issues with them leaking and fogging up and getting quite a lot of condensation. And it's like, I guess they're just expensive. Like you just have to spend a lot of money on lights, but it kind of stinks when it's, $1,200 or $1,500 for a set of headlights. It's a lot of money to spend on just being able to see.
Yeah, for the reason I went with those Eagle Eye ones is because they took the stock bulbs. Mm-hmm. They didn't have their own like LEDs that they gave you, and then non-sealed connectors in the back they expected you to use.
Right.
So I like that about them. And I got them there with 05 to 7 style, so I had to cut the header panel to put them in. And if I had to do it again, it's probably the same option I would do. I don't think I'd do it any different.
Okay.
But it would be nice if there was a better option. Like I said, I have had issues with them fogging up.
Maybe there's more than one Eagle Eye lights. This one, it looks like it's just like ATV, UTV stuff, maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't look like...
It's probably not the right one. Let's see what this is.
Like Morimoto does not have an option for the older Super Duties. They got options for the new ones, though.
Those look nice.
Yeah. Had a customer last week with a set of these in their truck, and I got to drive it at night, too. I should say in the dark during the day. Up here in Alaska, we have a lot of darkness, but...
Yeah, this time of year.
They actually, light placement was really good. Nice to drive with. I think it was these ones here. They have like 4 projectors.
$1,700 for
4
headlights.
projectors down the front.
Wow. And do those ones just hook up to your stock harness also, or do you have to wire a bunch of stuff in?
I'm not sure. I didn't install them. The set I installed on the Dodge, there's the backside right there. They were mostly plug and play. I think there was a module that you had to mount behind the headlights for HIDs. We did end up having an issue with feedback to the TIP'em. It was weird. With the key on, engine off, everything would work fine. As soon as you start the truck and you turn the headlights on, the transfer case motor would just start popping in and out of 4-wheel drive.
That's
until you turn the headlights off.
probably not intended.
No, so we did have to put there's like these little plug-in inline modules you put in that have diodes in them to prevent backfeeding to tip them,
Yeah.
and that cured that issue. So
Yeah, those look sweet.
yeah,
I guess at the end of the day, if I was talking about like if you're just unlimited budget buying the nicest truck for towing, I would just buy a new 6.7.
yeah,
I wouldn't
2020
even bother building something.
10 speed.
It drives so nice.
Yeah,
There's no like you can't build an older truck to drive and tow like a new. Especially for I haven't towed with any new Dodges or Chevys. Maybe they're great too, but the newer Fords are pretty hard to beat.
this might be that company I was talking about, Eagle Eyes. Yeah, they have come. Trucks have come a long ways in a short amount of time. It's hard to keep up with aftermarket parts,
Yeah.
making the old stuff new. Looks like this is all just OEM replacement.
Mm.
Well, no. So, I don't even remember where I got them. It was probably off Amazon. That was a long time ago, though. That was actually like 2012. Speaking of Amazon, check this out.
Nice. That ranks right up there with that Sound Racer,
Yeah,
the Sound Racer V8.
I saw that thing the other day. I think I actually threw it away, but
It was still poking around here.
yeah, it was in like door panel of my dually. I hadn't driven that thing in years. Hopped in there and I saw it.
Yeah. Those I wonder if they're still around. I'm pretty sure that was the first time I got sucked into a ClickFunnels and bought something.
First but not the last.
I can't say the last yet because I still have probably live for a while. They're still around, soundracer.se. Looks like they still sell the exact same device too. So, let's see. I did buy one of these. They give you the list of different sounds that they make. It is awful. Did not work. It does not sound like the right thing. But basically, all it does is it just sits in your cigarette lighter, and you connect to it. It broadcasts. Was it Bluetooth or did it send like an AM signal or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you had to tune your radio to the same.
Yeah, so it's like radio frequency. You tune your radio to it, and then I guess I couldn't explain how it works. Is it just like taking like voltage from?
I assume it was
alternator
voltage
spinning out?
fluctuations, or maybe it could see some sort of ripple from the alternator. I don't know.
Yeah, basically, as RPM increased, it would play the sound of a like sports car or an exotic car or something through your sound system. So it sounded like
You could change it too.
yeah, you could change it. So like I would put a Mustang sound in because I had a little Ford Focus, and it was a hot Ford Focus. It had like a bull bar and everything on the front, and I could make it sound like it was a real Mustang. It was pretty sweet. Don't buy one, by the way, but you can watch it on YouTube or something. It's Sound Racer V8, I think is what they're
Kind
called
of fun to
here.
prank someone, like put it in their car, turn the radio to it, so when they go to fire it up,
Yeah,
it's just a really loud V8 sound.
it's just their
or whatever.
rumbling. I had posted, when I got that thing a long time ago, I had posted a video of, I was like, finished the V8 swap on the Focus or whatever. And like in a video, because the sound was so bad, it kind of sounded like it actually maybe was a V8. And I remember a couple people, I'm pretty sure they actually thought that we swapped a V8 into a Focus, commenting on it. Yeah.
So I just typed in 99 Ford F-350, and I'm seeing what pops up on Amazon. Looks like we got some drop-in HIDs or LEDs.
You have to wonder with those mirrors and stuff, if that's not
Yida motor towing mirrors.
all the same thing. Like a lot of these cheap like Amazon brands, it's like they're the same manufacturer, they just rebrand them as their own.
And they're getting very booly, very creative with the names.
Yeah.
Like obviously someone's buying this stuff. I'm too nervous. Like I had a friend who bought some of these cheap mirrors once. Like going down the highway, the mirrors would vibrate so much you couldn't actually see it.
It should be illegal. Yeah, that's how some of those Spider ones were. Originally, I had bought a set. I don't remember if they were Spider. They're one of these cheap brands for the 999, that slope truck I had. And they were like that, like at idle or on the highway. You couldn't see anything. And I ended up getting a set of OEMs. Maybe I got them from you. I don't remember. Got them from somebody. So much better. Like I would rather just spend the money on OEM at this point.
Yeah. We got some battery cables. Looks like we got some nice heat shrink sealed connections. What are these? Just caps for the terminals? Yeah. Looks like
How
pretty
much is
high
that?
quality.
$377.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it looks like it would work pretty good. You see those ones you can buy at like Napa, where more or less you just like cut the end of the cable off. You strip it and you like clamp it down to your battery connection. There's no actual seal connection there. It's just like the cable getting bolted onto your deal on a clamp, and it see those come in a lot, causing a lot of issues on trucks coming into the shop, especially Dodges. Dodges are really sensitive with the battery connections.
Yeah. Yeah, there are issues with DIY. He's DIYing it wrong. Are there, like, what kind of connectors do you usually recommend, just as long as they are a sealed connector?
Yeah, a lot of the times, if there is enough slack in the cable, we'll just cut the damaged end off. We'll crimp and solder on a new eyelet, heat shrink it, and we'll get some marine-style terminals for the battery that you can usually have a wing nut with a stud where you can bolt it down.
Right.
That's the next best option compared to like a new OEM cable or something like this, in my opinion.
So have you found that on more modern vehicles that have better regulation, that they have less of a tendency to have like corrosion on the battery terminals than on older electrical systems?
No, they all corrode. Okay. It's definitely something that needs to be maintained, and it's something that oftentimes is overlooked.
Yeah. Because my understanding is that the cause of that corrosion is from the batteries overcharging and excreting hydrogen, right?
I don't know what causes it. I've never looked into it.
Yeah. I think it's something like that. And I'm just curious if like better technology, like better battery and regulation technology has helped with like not overcharging them, if that is the cause for it.
It may. I don't know. I know I've seen newer vehicles with corroded terminals. Speaking of that, something I had to mess with the other day on my wife's car. They actually monitor the amperage coming in and out of the battery. And they use that information to set like a desired battery state of charge at 80%. So they're not trying to bring it up to 100% all the time, to be in hopes to be more efficient.
Yeah.
Well, when you replace a battery in that car, you have to have a scan tool so you can reset the system.
Seriously?
Yeah.
And what year is that?
That's a 15.
Okay.
First time I saw it was like a 2011 F-150. It was the first time I saw it when they went to the electric power steering. I don't know if the power steering is the reason why they started doing it, but that's the first vehicle I saw it on. Kind of strange.
So will it won't charge until you can reset it?
It will charge, but it more or less, when you replace the battery, you're putting a battery in there with a different state of charge, so it needs to kind of relearn where that battery's at. And it won't be able to do that until you reset it with the scan tool.
Interesting. I did not know that was a thing.
It's like we got some airbag kits for very cheap. I don't know who makes those.
don't know that I'd probably go that route.
Yeah.
It's not something you probably want to cheap out on.
No, probably not. I figured I'd just look at the Dokas.
It sounds legit. Who was who had that wiring harness?
This harness?
Is that the one you were looking at earlier? It looked like it was actually a pretty nice kit.
Let's see if I can find it again. There it is. Custom battery cables.
Custom battery cables.
I think they have good reviews too.
Might need to check them out. They have a website too, custombatterycables.com. They have a ton of stuff on here. Yeah, it looks like they got a little bit of everything. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check those out. Because if you had a resource for like actually nice like cables and harnesses, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's a really useful thing to sell. It's nice to have a central place to get stuff like that too. I put in my contacts today because I didn't want the glare from having my glasses on. I cannot read what the comment says. Can you read that?
Well, I did not put in my contacts today. So.
Okay. Whoever commented on the video, we can't read it. Sorry. Yeah, this is cool. I'm gonna reach out to these guys and see if they see if we can get some stuff from them and test it out. That'd be nice to offer.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got? Anything else you want to cover?
I don't think so. I think that's about it for me.
So if anybody watches this and has some input, because I know it's kind of long here, one of the things we're kind of looking to do is on our site, we want to have the ability, like, you know, when you're on like Twitter or whatever, and people can offer like community input on something. Basically, like we'll have a description of the product and have the reviews and all that, but also have just like other useful info that could be included and may be pertinent to people that don't want to read a bunch of reviews, but it's like good technical or fitment info that isn't usually in descriptions, and kind of like either from a technical source or possibly from like community sources be able to add input on it. And I think that would be kind of useful, and that's going to be down like with the descriptions on most products. That's something we're thinking about building out. And we'll release some more info probably as we get closer to that, to more describe what that's going to look like. But if you guys have input, yay, nay on that, I'm interested in what everybody thinks, because that's the whole point, is just to have a better resource for a better way of managing the resource of information that should be available for most products. That's kind of what the goal is. It gets so scattered with between forums and Facebook, and I guess people don't talk much on Instagram or whatever. Like there's a ton of good information out there that's really hard to find or impossible to find if you're not part of a certain group or part of a certain forum. And I think getting good relevant info put where you're actually looking for products would be really useful. So that's kind of what the goal is there. And possibly even like referencing like relevant information that is on forums and stuff like that from product pages, but I feel like a lot of that stuff gets kind of out of date. So maybe not. But anyway, if you guys have input on that, that is something we're considering doing. So. Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Yeah, same here.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy live streams, we will try to get better at them, and we can do more in the future. I started like 6 months ago. I was going to set up an actual like podcast room so we could just have the equipment set up and have the cables and everything out of the way, and not have to tear it down and put it back together to record, because that's the thing that makes it kind of hard. Just have not finished it. So maybe this winter we'll get the podcast studio done, and then we can actually just have everything ready to go. We can sit down, record stuff when it's needed, and then we can produce more. Whereas taking 2 or 3 hours to set up to record a 2-hour video just doesn't make a whole lot of sense like it is now. But thank you guys for watching. I've been Dusty.